Hello and welcome to today's Daily Dominion, which is Empire's. First of all, it's not an Empire's Plunder. Empire's Plunder. We have two. It really should. They should figure out. My thing here would be put these here somehow. Anyway, that's off. I would try and figure out a way to put this. Whoa. It's really as good as it can. I mean, you should really put these up here. Should at least be closer than the. Yeah. Anyway, feedback. So we get Empire's Plunder. It's. I was gonna say it's mostly Empires, but I guess it's exactly 5 and 5. So full of it. There are two landscapes. One is friendly. I don't know what is friendly. Again, that's pretty bad, but Wild Hunt. Okay, so that's actually a reasonably good friendly because you may get some overdraw and be able to use that to gain some Wild Hunts, though we are a little action limited here. But we might see a friendly activation here, gain extra Wild Hunts. And then Dominate, which is a very expensive event, but it gives you a lot of points. It gives you 15 points in total. And you can even sometimes just get rid of the provinces and just accumulate VP tokens. We have Grotto again, so maybe they will buy a million of those. Well, they certainly will. There's some draw here in Archive Villa and Map Maker. Archive Wild Hunt Map Maker. Of course, you need Villa to play some of those multiple times. Villa is a pretty terrible village once they're gone. It's good before they're gone, but terrible once they're gone. But it's what we've got. And then there's Jeweled Egg for producing loot, which might be useful here to be able to afford Dominate. And there's Fortune as well, so you can maybe do a super, super big mega turn, because underneath the gladiators here is Fortune. Okay. I need to make a note or start a message to remember to write something about the split piles in the Kingdom View. I don't think that's being done very well. You could get Engineer. I mean, there are a lot of 4s and 2s and 3s that are worth gaining. I don't know that I'm going to take it. I mean, at the start, we're going to really want to prioritize trashing and then maybe take an Engineer. So I'm thinking Secluded Shrine Crucible. We'll see how that goes. They get the Grotto. They don't have the 5, so they do Grotto Crucible, which is totally fine as well, actually. I think we go silver here. You could take Jeweled Egg, I suppose. This was a very good first shuffle for me. So then this has got to either be Wild Hunt or Archive. I think we do the Wild Hunt. There's a good shot we can just, if we have to, we can buy a villa. This will be the end of our estates, unless we take a Jeweled Egg. If we think we want to really save the estate for the Crucible, though that doesn't actually matter. But that doesn't really matter. We may want a Jeweled Egg anyway, though. The other thing to think about would be an Engineer at some point. Like, we could take an Engineer here and maybe wait to buy Trying to think. We're likely gonna trigger. Let me think. We're gonna trigger the shuffle here unless the Wild Hunt's on the bottom. They have grottos, of course. Love grotto. Gotta get the grotto. There's gonna be a time for the engineer. I just don't know when that time is. You know? You understand? I think you gotta trash. Since we're gonna trigger the shuffle, you gotta trash. Excuse me. I'm gonna say the coppers, even though it's pretty inconsequential between the two. Okay, so we do whiff on the Wild Hunt, unfortunately, but that's all right. Hopefully we draw 4. Okay, we do. So we have Villa. We could get a loot here. We could go Jeweled Egg and trash. So the bottom cards are Engineer, Engineer Grotto. Not Grotto, Crucible. I wish we had drawn the Crucible. We do need to buy Wild Hunts. What do we get? Sword? Sword pretty good. Sword not bad. That's okay. I'm pretty happy with the sword. I maybe should have trashed the engineer there just to blow up the... Okay. Sword pretty good. Not upset with that. So we're gonna have 8 here. We could have, if we wanted to, we could have 10. 8 seems fine. We can just get Wild Hunt Gladiator. We're gonna want to get a grotto here pretty soon. This is unfortunate. We are bottom decking the we are bottom decking the Wild Hunts like crazy, unfortunately. But we'll just try to get the bulk of them. I may try to get a grotto here with the engineer. Buys and gaze on Wild Hunt. Discard. Okay. So they're also fighting on the Wild Hunts, which is good. Okay. There are a couple of things we could do here. I don't really remember. Do we need the engineer still? It does still do some okay stuff. Okay. We're gonna get another. Okay, staff is pretty nice. Okay. We're gonna go. Well, will we have anything to discard to the grotto? I don't know. I'm gonna take one though. Yeah, okay. We still have this estate. That's pretty funny. Yeah, I don't think there's like a really need to buy anything else. We'll just do these. I mean, the only thing we would think about buying there would be the grotto itself, but they'll probably take the points from the wild hunt. Yeah. So we're going to have to watch the pile outs on the estates and stuff, but if we can get to dominate, you know, and they're not there, then we really well, it's fine actually. I don't know what I'm complaining about. Okay. We do have to be a little careful about the pile here. Because the AI has a deck, and they have the point lead right now. Though, like I said, if we can dominate, then that's not as scary. I'm trying to think if there's a good gain in play here. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we have 4 to 3. What's the last card? It's no, that's Silver Estate in there. Last card, Villa, probably. I guess we should just draw up. Yeah, it was Villa. We do still have the advantage that we don't have to draw through the coppers. Trying to think what we crucible here. What do we have money-wise? We can staff a wild hunt at the end and get the estate, so that's kind of nice. Or get an estate. Though we probably are going to have the points anyway. Okay. What if we go 2 and a Villa? I don't think this really risks a pile out, though I'm not 100% on that. We can probably get to, we can like take a duchy as well. So the question is, do we want this last wild hunt? We also didn't get the grotto, so we don't have, if the Villa's run and we draw a nightmare draw, that's just it. Maybe we should have gotten a grotto. I guess we still could. We have enough, though we're not going to have anything too grotto to it, so that's not so meaningful here. Maybe we just run it and see what we get, or see how we go. I'm going to go with not gaining the... We could take the Villa, though. That might be reasonable. I would be a little scared of the 3 pile. Buying duchy doesn't really help avoid that. Like, if they can empty all this stuff, then they're just going to be able to anyway. I knew this was going to happen. So we'll see if they leave a Villa or not. They probably won't. Maybe they will. No. So now we're stuck. They're gonna have a map maker too. That's what's gonna make me furious here, is they're gonna have the map maker in hand when I take these points. Yeah. No, they didn't. Okay, I didn't have to be mad. Not gonna play this. I'm gonna buy. What does Triple Estate look like as far as that gets us to 16? They didn't grotto anything. They have archive, but they didn't get anything aside on grotto. But if they may be able to dominate. This will be pretty close to a pile out regardless. See what they do. They may have 14. Oh, they just win that way. They count it. AI counts it. Well, the dominate would have lost too. We got to look. It was tough because, well, we just dudded. I mean, I don't know if. How do I get to where I want to go? Oh, we're not even going to be able to. Well, this log thing is so busted. Okay. I mean, this wasn't where we dudded. This is the dud, right? Like, this is the turn. So, I hate this. Man, I just want one good Dominion client in my lifetime. It'll never happen. It's just never gonna happen. This is where we need to like rethink our strategy of pushing the piles here. I think. So we could go like this. We get the grotto. Okay. And then take the points. We can at least grotto the secluded shrine. Maybe we buy the province. It's still all the same problem of you don't know how I just don't grotto enough cards to have like consistency. Unfortunately. And so, I mean, we should probably take the villa away from them just so they don't have it for... I don't think there was an estate pile out there. But they may have one here. Again, a winning estate pile wouldn't be surprising, I don't think. They didn't take anything, so... I'm pretty sure... Well, I don't know if they had in hand there, but... If I had to guess... Where are the villas? Okay. See, now this wins on an estate pile out for us. But... Again, it's just a little random. It doesn't feel like it should be that random. I mean, between the grottos and the archives, and villa is the issue, right? The villas being emptied, and then they're just not very good for consistency because they're in necropolis. But you probably need to figure out grotto stuff. I played this a little differently, though that it still wasn't that clean, or we still dudded. It just the AI then just bought different stuff. The piles weren't as low. So I don't know. Like our shuffles were pretty good here. I mean, the AI had a deck though that contested the stuff. It had Villa and Wild Hunt. It did some of the jeweled egg stuff. I guess they ultimately got pretty well trashed just via Crucible. I didn't think they ever got a secluded shrine, so I'm not... Oh, they got a goat. Right. So the coppers would have been a little bit of an issue, or more of an issue for the AI, but they did get a goat. So that's why they got up to 5 copper trashes. That was maybe their first loot. Yeah, so they did get prize goat here. That helped a little bit for them. But they did have the grotto stuff anyway, so they would have been, you know, decently consistent. Well, now we gotta try again. I gotta go back in. I'm gonna play it the same. I didn't feel bad about the play. I mean, you could maybe make an argument for getting rid of the secluded shrine, but I didn't really feel all that bad about it in general. This is similar but worse to our previous game. So we may end up just way behind here. This like this doesn't hit. Well, it sort of hits 5. I also don't know that the gladiator was ever worth it. If we get Villa, and buy 5. I mean, we could trash the silver. Maybe we put the grotto in. Let's try grotto sooner. We'll get our wild hunt here. We're gonna have this grotto without anything to do with it though. Basically, we'll get a villa, but we can grotto all 3 of these, I suppose. We'll see if we can get there. See, this is gonna be a little nicer because they've already gotten they've got doubloons instead of goat, so that's gonna help us a little bit. So we can do a jeweled egg. Wild hunt here. I will say our game our last game and now this game as well, the wild hunt's been hiding. So that's frustrating for both of them, and we're very clean. Okay. So it's going to turn into the same thing. We're going to probably have a little better control, maybe a little better peak power. But not hugely different. Did I buy another grotto at one point? What did I buy last turn? I kind of would like another one. It's like they're just taking the estates right off rip. Okay. Have the sword again, which, you know, it's okay. It's okay to have. Do we want to try and get a jewel egg? Oh, that doesn't quite work. Well, it can work, but we need to play the... I don't know if this is right either. This may be... this may be over... maybe too much too. This may be pushing the piles too far. I don't probably want to play that. Get insignia, that's not that useful. It's okay for villas, but see what sure. If the villas are gone though, then that'll be useless, which the AI may run the villas here. They always buy this stuff, like this grotto, whatever they set aside here. I find it very hard to believe that that was the play. But what are we at here? I think we'll be able to pile probably. Will we be able to pile and win? Unclear. We still have the engineer, so it can do double villa. Gives us lots of actions. We can get another sword. Hooray. We have... We don't have to buy the Wild Hunt. We can just get them at the end. I guess this is already... enough. We don't even need to do the... We didn't get a gladiator this game. Maybe that was the story. I don't really think that was the story, but... we just need to buy the villa. It doesn't matter. We could have bought some coppers, I guess. We could have got another point. There were things, and none of it mattered. Okay. So this was a little frustrating to lose, though not so frustrating because the hard AI did something pretty reasonable. I just should be able to manipulate around the 3 piles against the hard AI. And I think our draws were... Some of them were okay in the first game. Then there were a few turns that were pretty sad. I mean, the end was always going to run that risk, right? Once the villas were gone, that was always going to be the critical point. If it was close enough at that point, then there was going to be a chance to dud, and that's what happened to us. So that's not unsurprising. What's frustrating is I think I probably should have put it out of range before that in some way. But maybe the deck was just... Maybe the AI deck was simply good enough here. And like I said, it's doing reasonable things. It just doesn't... Like, it's so hard to believe that these turns where it's grottoing, playing 2 grottos and it's like this, like, that's just a bad deck. Not... You know, and it's just wheel spinny. Ultimately, I guess here they ended up with a lot less stuff than in the first game. Yeah. This is not at all similar to the first game in terms of the AI's deck composition. So certainly there were a couple things. Doubloons is their loot versus prize goat. Because if the AI gets prize goat, it trashes, but it doesn't know how to pursue trashing here without that being just gifted to them. And if they get the prize goat, they'll trash the coppers, but they don't use the secluded shrine. So this deck is just this deck is just setting aside coppers on Grotto and then just drawing those coppers, right? Just doesn't output a lot. Whereas the first game actually had some way more villas and wild hunts, and then ultimately more loots and things, because it just could do a little more. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. I don't know. I think I have to take the blame for the first loss. I don't like to say it, but I think I do, and I'll just have to live with that if I can. But thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.